Okay, Iain, so you hail from South Africa, now you're over here based in chilly Britain. We're about to go into the deepest, darkest part of winter. What clothing and kit do you take out with you when you're going on one of your strike missions, which you do a lot?
Yeah, so basically the best thing that I would say would be to get headwear. Something like a beanie or a very warm hat is probably the best to have. And then a jacket. I've got this Finisterre fleece jacket, and this thing is insane. It keeps me really warm. If you really do need something to keep you dry in the rain, the best part would be to get a rain jacket, something that's super waterproof, and then you can pair that with some leggings too. And then I always wear some boots. Now the boots here, especially when you get into the muddier conditions, those are really key to have. And something like a really waterproof boot, something that you can step around in the mud and in the rain, that's probably the best things to have.
Perfect. Okay then, so the all-important wetsuit decision when you get to this time of the year. You know, I always wear a wetsuit with a built-in hood. I find that works really well for me. What do you use?
Well, for me, the best thing that I found is to use a hood with a chicken vest underneath. This is really nice because it kind of keeps the hood really attached to your body and kind of inside of the wetsuit. Other than that, using a thicker wetsuit, basically a 5'4" or a 4'3", this keeps you very warm. Kind of get those stitched and glued seams. That's really what you want. Keep the water out and keep the warmth in. And then of course to have something that's really comfortable in the fit. Now a lot of these wetsuits are going to be a lot thicker, but nowadays with the technology, you've got a lot of comfort and a lot of give in the wetsuits. And this is the best part about having thicker wetsuits. Don't be scared to try and get a thicker wetsuit and really wear something that's comfortable and good fitting.
Good, and I've personally found that a lot of the winter suits have the single line material, the smooth material on here, and that's something to avoid as a bodyboarder, isn't it?
Definitely. You don't really want that kind of smooth finish on the front that really sticks to the board a lot more. You want something that's going to slide with the board and be a lot easier. And that's a big thing in bodyboarding, is you want to slide up and down the board. So don't get fooled by buying those wetsuits with that really slippery front section, because on the bodyboard it doesn't really slip.
You'll be getting wedged.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And then obviously we're going to look at things like boots and gloves. Now the booties, you are going to have to wear a bigger pair of fins, so that's something to remember.
That's an interesting one, but yeah, I always have 2 pairs of socks for the winter, so I can dry out 1 pair of socks whilst I'm surfing, then I come back and if I want to surf again, I've got a dry pair of socks so I can slide in.
But then the gloves, keeping them either at 2 or 3 mil, something that you can feel the board with, still keep your hands really warm. Really thick gloves, you're really going to struggle to hold the board and really grip the board well. They do become really sticky when you get them in the water, which helps gripping on when you're riding. And some people actually really enjoy them. My first couple surfs that I had, I really enjoyed riding with the gloves. And so, yeah, some people might really enjoy them, some might not, but for me personally, I really like the feel, and especially with the thinner gloves, those are best.
Good, yeah, and a final tip on the gloves front, having used them all winters for God knows how many years, is a bit of wax on the gloves can help, give you a little bit of traction there as well, so cool, it's really useful, thanks.
Here in the UK, I've chose to use 2 because nothing ever seems to dry here in the UK. Taking 2 wetsuits, I basically bring the wet one home, wash that off, and kind of leave it out to drip. Once it stopped dripping and started to dry out, I then take it out of the shower and put it somewhere where it's a little bit more warm. That allows it to really dry out. And the big tip is to really turn the wetsuit the right way around. This is going to allow the wetsuit to dry a lot quicker, as the fleece lining dries a lot faster than the neoprene. So leaving the neoprene on the outside, this is going to dry the wetsuit, and keeping that in a warm place will really help the wetsuit to dry fast. And then just chop and change between the 2, making sure that one is as dry as it can possibly get, and then obviously having the wet one drying out.
Okay, so which bodyboard do you use in the winter?
So for me, I choose to use a board that I've used for quite a while. This one you can see I've kind of got some elbow dents in them already, and something that's going to have a bit of flex. Okay. We are riding in a lot colder conditions, out and in the water, and that means you're going to want to have a board that's got a little bit more flex. So using those older boards or boards that you've kind of ridden in, those are always key.
Cool, okay, and I know that some of the Irish boys, they all use PE cores, polyethylene cores. So yeah, they're super flexible, but it's super cold up there, isn't it? Tell me about stringers.
Yeah, so I mean, some people are going to have the ISS stringers. These really allow you to kind of play with the flexibility of the board. Taking those stringers out, you can actually ride with a stringerless board. So these are all possibilities that you could use. PE is a good option, as well as NRG. And these boards can really give you a lot more flex and allow you to kind of ride in those colder conditions, but still have complete control over the board.
Cool, super useful, thanks. Cool, so you've got out the surf, you're kind of chilly. What's the process?
I think something like a flask and then something like a hot drink, those are key to getting your body temperature back up to warm and really to kind of get you back into a warm state. The water is going to be extremely cold and we don't want to stay cold, we want to get warm again. Big jackets, getting your beanies on, getting your fleeces on and drinking some warm drinks.
Good, and some of the Californian guys, I know Joe Reel does this and you said Billy Thiel does it as well. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the other option of course is to fill up a big jug, either a 5 litre or a 10 litre with warm water before you go surf. Then once you get out the water, you can kind of flip this up, turn it over your head, put it down your wetsuit. This is going to get you really warm really quickly and something that's extremely enjoyable once you've been in really cold conditions.
Good, and then if you're going back to work or whatever, you've got the salt off, you're ready to go.
It's the call.
Top
it's the
tip,
best call.
top tip, good prep. Okay, cool. Thanks for coming in, Ian. It's been great to chat to you. There's certainly some nuggets of information that I didn't know, and I've been surfing in the winter for many years. So yeah, I'd love to do this with you some more. So watch the channel for more chats between Ian and I. We love doing this. We love sharing our knowledge about bodyboarding. We really want to do it more, and we want to improve the channel. So the way that you could help is a like and subscribe. And then if you comment below with any ideas or thoughts or nuggets of information you've got about winter bodyboarding, we'd love to hear them. Catch up soon.